Yeah, so my relationship with IMAX goes back to 2008, summer 2008. I saw The Dark Knight Thursday night at 4 a.m. because that was how we were doing it back then. And since then, I've been day one any IMAX release. But I don't know if any of them have made me feel like how Chris made me feel then. And when he dropped stuff in the format, I'm always day one. He was the first call that I made, and his biggest advice was just to treat it like it was a Super 8 camera. He was like, don't bow down to the camera and just make it like you would make a normal movie. Because it's not a lot of movies made with these formats.
No.
And then there's even fewer, people who look like us.
Yeah.
Being shot in those formats, and just what a close up does. I remember the first time we screened the footage, it kind of knocked my breath away.
Yeah.
Was it like that for you?
No, it was. I think because no one's put them together.
And you handheld that camera.
Yes, we both did. Yes,
we both did.
It was fun.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like kind of a little fridge on your shoulder.
And it's in the movie.
Yes, it's in the
movie.
You
the first.
Yes.
First woman to handheld an IMAX camera.
Yes.
In a motion picture.
Yes.
Major release. Collaboration. It's our second time working together.
Mm-hmm.
How do you translate the story from script to screen? Do you have any tips or fun, surprising techniques that are unique to your process?
I think the first time we had a call on our first project, and that project went a whole year long, and then this one also went long. You explained to me kind of what emotionally you wanted your audience to get out of it. And it was interesting because I remember that call. I made notes in a book, and what impresses me the most is that, like, we're not talking about references. You didn't give me a bunch of, like, tangible stuff, but you told me the feeling at which you want to create and what was important to you. Mm-hmm. And I think as a DP, it's like you're there for that person. So you want to carry out their vision, but you want them to be happy. So I remember taking a bunch of notes about that. And for this one, the same thing. We had a call, and then we exchanged some emails. And it was just like, you just talk to me. You just kind of tell me about, like, what the through line is, what you want each character, like, what their passion is, the vision, and then we talk about format and stuff. So I always take notes, but it's always grounded in what is the emotional core at which you want people to kind of absorb, because all your stuff's so emotional and character-driven. And I take it very seriously to make sure that everyone feels real and it's not fake, because that's very important to you, is that we feel like we build a real world. So we had a call like that, I think, for both projects, where you just kind of tell me what's important to you.
And big shout out to Jesse Ehrman from Warner Brothers who suggested large format. Because I remember when I first started thinking about this movie, I bought a camera, and our friend Rachel,
yes.
You know what I'm saying, who's family for both of us, Rachel Morrison. And I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna use this 416 to shoot this movie with. But then, Jesse hit me and was like, hey, what are you thinking about large format? And then from there, like, my mind kind of exploded, and that's when I called you.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, what do you think about large format? And then I remember that email where you kind of told me these are all the different ways we can go, like aspect ratio wise and shooting in conjunction with IMAX. And then you was like, this format will be bananas, but this would be like full bananas, you know what I mean?
Like the stack, like the bunch of bananas.
Yeah, exactly. The what do you call it, like a bushel or whatever.
But you're the one who dropped the 276 Hateful Eight. Like, you brought that up as, like, on my little laundry list of, like, what we could look into. And then obviously I got super excited about that.
Yeah, so my relationship with IMAX goes back to 2008. Summer 2008, I saw The Dark Knight Thursday night at 4 a.m. because that was how we were doing it back then. And since then, day one any IMAX release. But I don't know if any of them have made me feel like how Chris made me feel then. And when he dropped stuff in the format, I'm always day one with all his stuff. And I've gotten to know him. I met him in 2015 when when him and Emma came to the LA premiere of Creed, and we stayed in touch, often asking him advice about most of the advice is about life, man. You know what I'm saying? Like working with his younger brother, which I often do, and obviously working with his wife and life partner, which Zenzi and I do. But on this one, you know, the advice we could seek out with working with IMAX film cameras was like right up his alley. He had just worked with the System 65 cameras and the IMAX film cameras, and when Warner Brothers said yes to us exploring it, you know, he was the first call that I made, and his biggest advice was just to treat it like it was a Super 8 camera. You know, he was like, don't bow down to the camera and just make it like you would make a normal movie. That's going to be the best thing for you. It's going to be the best thing for the format. And that's kind of the advice that I tried to live by. How about you?
Yeah, and I feel like we did that. Like we heeded that advice well. Hoyte and I have the same agent, and so I got his number, and I think we talked about that I was going to hit him up. And it was kind of the same type of thing. We're on the phone for an hour, and it was a very like kind of emotionally driven call where he was just kind of giving me how the storytelling of like how he wishes that it's something he could put his hands on all the time, and when he's not around the format, he misses it, and you know what it meant to him. And you could hear it in his voice how important it was, and how lovely, you know, they treat that kind of experience. And so. Yeah, he said, drive it like you stole it. And, you know, pretty much just like one thing I think I mentioned to you and I read in an email was like, what are you trying to say? Like, what look and feel do you want to give the audience, you know, with that format? So yeah, it was like it's a bravery thing, I think. Like I think it's a perfect thing that we ended up doing that because I feel like our team is brave and we executed well.
The story takes place in the Mississippi Delta, and one of the main things that the Delta is known for is how flat it is. You know, and that's like a defining characteristic. So I wanted to see what's the flattest place we could get for our test in Los Angeles to see how I would feel with different visual aspects that the lenses and the formats could give us. Where do we end up going? It was like where they shoot a lot of music videos.
Yeah, it's like Palmdale kind of out there in the flatlands. A lot of music videos, car commercials, stuff like that. That was the closest, easiest for us to do and get the cameras out there. But yeah, it's one of those things where like you have an idea and then you do the test and you sit there and watch it and it just clicked, right? I mean, we had some shots in there that just showed the scope so beautifully, and we had not seen anything like that before in person.
No, it was breathtaking.
Yeah.
It was breathtaking, and yeah, like one of the visual themes of the film we talked about is isolation. Yes. You know, how you know, I had this experience in Mississippi scouting. You'll drive for, you know, what seems like hours before you get to the next building, and you're driving through all of this agricultural landscape. It's a cotton farm, it's a pecan farm, and you might not see a car. You might not see another person for a long time, and then you'll happen upon wherever it is you're trying to go. Oftentimes it'll be a juke joint, you know. And just that experience of seeing these characters on these just massive, expansive, isolated landscapes, it just clicked that this would be the way. And also how big the sky can feel out there. Yeah. And that 1:43, you know, full frame ratio. It was amazing, man. Like, cause you always get the best stand-ins, you know, like I know you cast it. You cast the young man who was out there, and you know, seeing him, you know, what I mean, contrasted with that landscape, man. It reminded me of because you know, it's not a lot of movies made with these formats. No, you know, and then there's even fewer people who look like us. Yeah, you know, being shot in those formats, and you know, just what a close-up does. You know, I remember the first time we screened the footage, it kind of knocked my breath away, you know? Yeah. Was it like that for you?
No, it was, I think, because no one's put them together except for us in this film. And so what I was thinking, like, always is, like, you're very brave, which in turn makes me brave, right? So it never once did I think, oh, someone's not going to be able to grasp this very slim format into a very tall format, but it just works. And that's what you wanted to do the test for. And what's so beautiful is exactly what you said. And it shows now that the film, I've seen it, because you shoot it and then I wait to see it until your edit's done. It's so immersive. And that's the big word with IMAX is immersive. And it actually works in that way with these two formats because you get this width. And then when you jump into the mind of the character, you get to go tall. And I really like that. And as a moviegoer, when you watch something that you've done and it kind of, your reaction is pretty cool because it's worked on yourself,
Yeah.
You did a good job because you made that feeling happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite scene. I've said it 100 million times.
That scene inside that church, every department is firing on all cylinders. Like the makeup, the costumes, the performances, the background, the contrast that's there. Just in what Hannah did making the church, that texture white against. And Ruth's costumes being white and in the dark black that's on Saul against, juxtaposed against that, African skin.
Yeah.
And then your lighting captures it so beautifully because there's beauty there, there's reality there, and it feels special. And also the tone is there.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we are in a movie that's heightened, but also real, that's supernatural, but also not, and I just thought that you did a beautiful job. And that's really like the responsibility of the cinematographer, right? Like it's such a visual medium. The responsibility of the visual, what actually everybody's work, you know what I'm saying? And how everybody's work has to be interpreted. That's in your hands, And I felt like, man, what a job you guys did there.
You're always teeing everybody up, like, to the highest level. So it's like on the day, you better represent and you better deliver. And all of that stuff is there for you to grasp. And then the crane, because we did a bunch of crane stuff, which was very tricky. Like on that format, like
100%.
IMAX, that crane was moving around, close-ups. You were running your takes kind of long. And our team is so great. Like we could operate as if we were like a digital medium. Like I never felt like we had to like there's a stiffness, I think, back in the day that there was with shooting with those cameras. But with us, I felt like we still kept our like fragility, but we were able to execute like nicely and it didn't get in the way. At least that's how I feel.
These cameras, how much do they weigh?
100 pounds.
So cameras weigh 100 pounds. How much does a Sony Venice weigh?
Like 37.
All right,
40 pounds.
So we're talking about 60 to 70 pound difference.
A lot heavier.
So these cameras are a beast, once they load it up. Can't do handheld with these cameras.
No, even though you put on your shoulder ones. It's like a tipping ship, right? It's just not ergonomic.
Yeah.
You felt that.
So that's the System 65, and that aspect ratio comes at a 2.76.
Yes.
Anamorphic.
1.3 squeeze.
1.3
anamorphic lenses.
1.3 squeeze anamorphic lenses. Our other camera package is the IMAX film camera package. Same film strip, but going through horizontally. 15 per frame. So 15 per IMAX film. How much do these cameras weigh?
I think that we had 2 MSMs and we had 1 high speed. They're lighter than the other one, but when you build it out, it gets heavier. But yeah, it fits on your shoulder more than the
and that camera can be handheld.
It can be, yes.
And You handheld that camera.
Yes, we both did, yes.
We both did.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like kind of a little fridge on your shoulder.
And it's in the movie.
Yes. It's in the
movie.
movie.
You the first.
Yes.
First woman to handheld an IMAX camera.
Yes.
In a motion picture.
Yes.
Major release. I remember the footage when you threw it on your shoulder. Everybody was really excited.
Yes. It was funny because I think when I talked to Hoyte, he was very much like encouraging about it all.
Yeah.
You know? And that just makes you feel better about like grabbing it, doing what you need to, even though it doesn't really feel like what you're used to.
They made Ektachrome film for this movie.
Mm-hmm. Never been done?
Never been constructed before. 15 perfect Ektachrome camera. And that footage is in the movie. Mm-hmm. And you were holding the camera. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of firsts on this movie.
Yes.
With IMAX and like in film history, I would say. And those shots are beautiful. Back up.
When I read the script, because the script starts with this scene,
Mm-hmm.
I was always like, what the fuck? It's so good. Where'd he come up with this? And it just jumped off the page. And I remember thinking like how I would shoot that. Because when you read a script and you're already like excited about shooting something, it's kind of like reading a good book. It's just like you can't put it down. And that was that scene for me. And so I remember when, we built the farmhouse and then we went there and we got to shoot that and the weather played ball. Mm. And you wanted to pick, we had to orientate everything. So we had the wide shot with the sun setting in it. It was just all perfect and we got very lucky. And so that, again, the church is a different thing for me, but this is just kind of history making. Like I love Westerns. So you gave me a little slice of a Western, in a movie that, it just has so much different genre stuff going on. So it was so fun to shoot that.
And it's no longer the opening of the movie.
No, but still special.
Yeah. I mean, but you guys killed it, man. It's just like the costumes and Hannah's work, because I love forced perspective. Mm. And Hannah put like those beadboard roofs.
Yeah.
And then you splashed them with the with the light.
They're reflective, yeah.
I just feel like you, Ruth, and Hannah were just showing off, man. And then you got the Mississippi Choctaw who show up in the film for a little bit. And it was their horses, you know what I mean? Like, and they got to consult with Ruth about like what they would be wearing at this time in the 1930s.
We took a picture when we wrapped that scene. It's my favorite picture ever taken. You can kind of see your life. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I saw the picture and I never knew I'd get to that point. But I knew in the back of my mind that I would or something. And it was a picture of us with all the Choctaw and the actors and on the porch of the farmhouse. And it just looks very cool. And just, it kind of encompasses that whole feeling of what we did. I know I'll look back at this picture in 20 years. And I was named after a Western. My dad named me after a John Ford Western called Cheyenne Autumn. And Westerns were his favorite. And so, again, with that thing, it's like when I read it on the page and then Ryan giving me like a little slice of being able to shoot a Western in a movie that wasn't a Western, it was very exciting and inspiring. I think that picture says it all. And one day my son will be able to see this movie, and I think it will be just as important to him that his mom shot that movie in that format. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Autumn, thank you. Meant the world.
Pleasure.
I think folks really going to enjoy this episode.
There's so much to talk about. It's like, I can't wait for them to see the film.
Like, why?
I can't wait to see it. You made a movie that you would go buy a ticket for.
Absolutely. I'll buy a ticket in IMAX Thursday night, I think. Like I used to always do.
Yes, I could see you in line.